Hi. Well, today we really return to the theme of the most outrageous theft of wealth that I think humanity's ever witnessed. And I'm talking about late stage capitalism in the US, where you saw management of companies conspire with their boards of directors to essentially steal corporate assets for their own enrichment. And part of the way that this is done is companies will borrow money and then buy back stock. Now, why would a company do that? Many years ago for me, decades ago for the rest of you, laws were passed to stop corporations paying managers excessive cash compensation. And it was decided that, to be fair, managers would be paid or would profit if the stock price went up. And everybody seemed to be in agreement that this would align everyone's interest. Shareholders would be aligned with with management. After all, if the share price went up, everybody benefits. But this, which is called financial engineering, which is using finances or financial strategies to increase the stock price without actually improving the underlying business, this over the last 20 or 30 years has essentially resulted in the hollowing out of America. And I'm going to present to you one of the very best brand names in the world and one of America's very best brands. I'm not going to tell you who they are. I'm going to describe the company to you. And by the end, you can tell me what you think the value of this brand is today. So this is a company that is very key to the US. They export huge dollar ticket items. They are instrumental in determining whether the balance of trade is positive or negative. Along with software entertainment, I would say that it's one of the top three contributors to the products that the US sells internationally. Now, this company is typical of the bunch in that they have squandered their good name by borrowing money and buying back stock. Executives are retiring with tens or even hundreds of millions of dollars in payouts when they leave, in addition to the millions that they received while they worked there. Now, I'm going to pull up a chart and take a look and see what you think. This chart represents the debt that this company has incurred. And over the last 10 years, they've basically increased their debts from $10 billion to $20 billion, as you can see by this shocking chart here. It's far worse than that, because this company, in addition to having hollowed itself out by borrowing money and buying back stock, to the point that the net worth of the company is negative $3.7 billion. Let me repeat that. Shareholders' equity is negative $3.7 billion. The company has a negative net worth as a result of having borrowed this much money. So a perfect storm has arisen. Not only is their best product now removed from the market, and I will disclose to you now that we're talking about Boeing, one of the best companies in the world, according to anybody who is an expert that you might ask. They've hollowed themselves out. They have a negative net worth. Their number one product, the Max, is now grounded. Nobody will buy any of them. It's likely that Boeing will be forced to make very expensive changes to the ones that have already been sold, or else take those back. Senior managers of Boeing have been caught, or it's been discovered that in internal emails they've said they would never want to fly on a Boeing airplane. And we're talking about airplanes other than the Max. We're talking about Boeing as a reliable entity. Apparently there are micro shards of metal in the bottom of the fuselage, and the bottom of the fuselage is where all the hydraulic cables collect, and the chance for a catastrophe is there. So you have this company that has been riding high for many decades. It's considered one of the premier brand names in the world, and yet a perfect storm has arisen. They have mortgaged their future to buy back stock to enrich management. They have they're taken shortcuts to the point that the world has no confidence that their regulator, the FAA, is even regulating them. Internal emails have disclosed that their products, that the safety standards for their products are a shambles. And this is for an airplane. You really can't have any whiff of impropriety when you're 30,000 feet in a metal tube high in the sky. And this typifies America. This is considered one of the premier brand names in the world. The stock is still at almost $300 a share. It fell today because, a combination of things. The MAX is now, forecast to be out of service for longer. There are issues now with other airplanes. The stock can very easily fall to half its current price. And I would ask you this question: if the company has a negative net worth, and I forgot to mention, they're actually thinking about borrowing an additional $5 to $10 billion to get them through this temporary problem period. So I would ask you, what is this company worth? Is it worth $100 a share, or is it actually worth zero or less than zero? This is one of the icons of American history. Let's see where this ends. Take care.